Hello Stampers, I'm Kelly Acheson at stampabove.com coming to you from Menasha, Wisconsin. Today for my Wait What Wednesday tip video, I have a fantastic technique called a faux watercolor using glossy white cardstock. Now, I have to tell you, I almost missed that the glossy white cardstock is retiring. So I thought, oh my lord, I have to show you guys how to do this technique. It's super cool. I've actually got two techniques I'm going to show you with the glossy white cardstock because I know how hard this is to find, and it's going to be going away with our new catalog. We don't have it in there anymore. So if you would like to do this technique, you're going to need to get yourself some glossy white cardstock before it's gone. I'm going to flip my camera around now and show you how cool this is. Glossy white cardstock is one of those products that you have to have. There are so many cool things you can do with this. It's great for resist techniques. You can stamp with Versamark and clear embossing powder, heat set, and then you can rub over with a sponge or daubers, and it just has a much different texture and a much different effect than regular white cardstock. And in the pack of glossy white cardstock, you get 10 sheets. Now the layers that I'm working with today are 3.5 by 4 3/4. You can get 5 of these out of one sheet. So that's 50 card fronts you would have with this. I'm going to show you the watercolor, the faux watercolor technique first. And what you're going to need is one of our spritzers. I love these because they spritz out a very fine mist, and that's important when you're doing watercolor techniques. So I'm going to take my spritzer. I have already filled it with 70% alcohol, and we're just going to spray it on to our glossy cardstock. Now it's pretty wet. I hope you can see that in the light. It's pretty wet. I've saturated it. Then I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at one of our new in colors. This is the Pretty Peacock, and oh my gosh, it is beautiful. I'm just going to add some drops of re-inker onto my glossy white cardstock. I'm going to put about 4 of them here. Then I'm also bringing in Bermuda Bay. I thought this would be a nice combination with the Pretty Peacock. And some Granny Apple Green. Now this technique is a little messy. I just want you to know that ahead of time. I'm going to take another piece that's the same size, and I'm going to add some alcohol to this one also. And then we're going to put them together just like this and smush them. Now, I do recommend that you have a tissue handy to kind of sop up that extra ink. And then, if you'd like, you can take them and kind of drag them. And look at how cool that is. Oh my gosh, isn't that just amazing? Now, I'm going to set this aside to dry. If you want to, you can take your tissue, you can sop up some of that ink. It's going to get you a different look here than if you were to just leave these alone and let them dry. Also, if you have any white that you don't want exposed, you can bring in some color from your tissue to get rid of the white. There's another little white piece right down here. Isn't that so pretty? I thought this would be really cool background for maybe some fish or octopus or some type of sea life. It's also kind of cool because it reminds me a little bit of the galaxy. If we put a little bit more blue in there, something you could do with planets, which is really cool. Now, like I said, you're going to get a little messy with this, so you may want to wear some rubber gloves. I do keep rubber gloves in my office, but I kind of forgot about them. This technique is totally worth a little ink on your fingers. Just going to grab a wipe here and wipe off some of this. I also heard from another stamper that, remember lava soap? that it's kind of like gritty, like it's got sand in it. Well, I actually ordered some on Amazon because I have heard that that gets the ink off your fingers. So I'll try that. I'll let you guys know what I find out. I haven't actually used it yet. Okay, so we're just gonna let these two dry. This is it. Now you can layer this on your card. Okay, so I'm going to bring in some different colors here. I thought it would be fun to play around with some other colors. Again, we're going to spritz it with the alcohol, and now I'm coming in with pumpkin pie. And pineapple punch. I'm going to spritz this other piece, and we're going to push these two together. And you can see it kind of comes oozing out the edges here. And then I'm going to again drag this. Oh my gosh, that's pretty too, isn't it? Okay, let's take a tissue. We'll wipe up a little bit of this ink. I think that's gorgeous. What do you guys think? Now you're just going to set this aside and let it dry. I think you could probably hit it with a heat tool if you wanted to. That would be fine. Now I've got one more technique to show you. This is the brush stroke technique. This is really cool, and it's not quite as messy. So again, I've got another layer of the Glossy White Cardstock, and you're going to take your ink pad and you're just going to drag it. And it's going to kind of give you a brush stroke look when we get done here. Then that was the Pretty Peacock. This is Granny Apple Green. And then I've got Bermuda Bay. And you can just keep dragging this around until you get the desired effect that you're looking for. I think I'm going to come in with a little bit more of that Pretty Peacock here. Maybe a little bit more Granny Apple Green. Oh my gosh, isn't that pretty? Now, do you see why it's called brush stroke? It looks like you brushed it with a paintbrush. All right, I have one card completed that I made with my faux watercolor, and a sneak peek for you. I used the It Starts With Art stamp set, and also the Arts and Crafts dies. Now, look at these edgelets in here. Well, maybe they're not edgelets, but they do die cut an edge. All kinds of little elements in here that go with this stamp set. This is a brand new set coming out in the new catalog, which goes live on June 4th. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, pop me an email. My email is going to be right here on the screen, kelly@astampabove.com. I would be happy to send you the new catalog. We've got this coming out brand new, matches this. And then I've also shared with you the Pretty Peacock. And here's the card that I made with that background. So everyone is going to turn out a little bit different. So I took the pens that are in here, I colored them just a little bit with my alcohol markers, or Stampin' Blend markers. I popped them up on dimensionals, and then one other thing I want to show you that is absolutely gorgeous is this new ribbon. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh. This is the scalloped linen ribbon, and it comes in all 5 of our new in colors. This is the Pretty Peacock. So what I did here is I just took that ribbon and I just let that little scalloped edge peek out from underneath my banner. Then on the inside, remember I had two pieces, right? So one piece I put on the front. The other piece I took and trimmed. I trimmed an edge off of it and added it to the inside of my card. And isn't this just a great note? I can send this to anybody. Add a few rhinestones to give it a tiny bit of bling. Love, love, love this. Okay, so little sneak peek going on. If you would like to get some of the Glossy White Cardstock, you can head right over to my blog. There's an online ordering button in the right-hand column. Also use the host code that is shown in that right-hand column if your order is under $150. I do recommend that you get a couple packs of the Glossy White Cardstock. You get 10 sheets of each. That'll be enough to hold you for a long time. I got 5 of my card fronts out of one piece. So here's the orange again. It's dry. I would be able to use this now. This one's a little damp yet, but isn't that pretty? So very pretty. And then we've got the Bermuda Bay, the pretty peacock, and the Granny Apple Green pieces there. I hope you'll give this a try. Get yourself some white cardstock if you don't, glossy white cardstock if you don't have any, and try some different color combinations. This is really cool. I think this would make great man cards too, right? I can see some flowers on here, some butterflies. I love this. Thanks you guys so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me. I hope you have a fantastic Wednesday. Click up here. That'll take you right over to my blog. And don't forget to click down here to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And make sure you contact me if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator so you can get your hands on that new catalog. You're going to love it. All right, you guys. Bye-bye.